You're not a prop guy. I'm a big prop guy.
No,
I don't like sides and totals as much. Or are you now kind of getting into the props more?
No, I've always been a prop guy.
But I feel like this year you haven't.
I've been staying away a little bit.
Yeah.
But this week I found a couple angles that I really do like.
Okay, so we'll get into those as well.
Yeah.
Which I think is really important because there's definitely, and I'm kind of with you though. You mentioned this last night, and I did some deep thinking.
Yeah.
I spent some time. I zenned out, sat, meditated on this, and I have to agree with you. College football has had better games this year than the NFL.
Yeah, it's been a better product.
It has been.
That's not always the case. Usually college football, there's a ton of blowouts. I love the sport, but you watch a game and it takes 5.5 hours to complete. And this year,
even with the clock rule,
with the clock rule,
it's still too long.
Oh yeah, the Red River Shootout, I think it was 4.5 hours. I believe
just insane.
4 hours and 45 minutes, something like that.
It's one thing for us to sit here and be like, I can't believe they didn't kneel. I can't believe they didn't kneel. Do you think that has an effect at all within the locker room, within the collection of all the players there still thinking about that? Or do you think that that's something that they moved on from and won't be a factor against North Carolina at all?
Well, let me say one thing before I answer that question is that as big of a brain fart as that was, how do you compound that with 27 seconds left? They got to go 44 yards and have no timeouts.
That's true.
Let a receiver get behind you like that.
Yeah.
That to me is almost as big of a coaching blunder as the not kneeling down. There are two ways that this can go. Either the team can use this as a rallying point and just kind of say, our season is now on the line because of what we did against Georgia Tech. We've got to come out and and play our best game, or it can be a total soul crusher. I am of the opinion that Miami is going to play very well on Saturday.
You wonder, is Sean Payton maybe a little overrated? These guys, they don't want to hear the nonsense.
Honestly, here's what I think's going on. He doesn't care about this season. I really do believe that he's got tanking in his mind. Does that look like a team that's prepared every single week?
Well, that's the one thing that he has working for him, too, is he's not going to get canned next year. He's not going to get canned the year after. He has time because he's Sean Payton. They went all in to bring him in there, but they can't feel very good. In fact, it's not even week 8, and already the ownership and the management group had to come out and be like, we have full confidence that Sean Payton's going to turn this thing around. Usually, that's the end of the season press conference after you don't make the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's weird to see that before we even get to their bye week. That's all I'm saying. I have no faith in Denver. And also, they're in the AFC, and they're in one of the toughest divisions in all of football. Even if you're down on every other team, that team, the Kansas City Chiefs, is in that division, and they got that Mahomes guy, who right now is winning games with, Willie Lump Lump at wide receiver.
The Ravens' red zone defense is one of the best. And NFL low, in fact, 25% opposing offense is actually getting in the end zone. This is two very opposites here. I love the Ravens in this game. I think the Ravens win this. I think the Ravens cover that 4. This is probably an under for me, though I didn't touch the total. It's sitting at 41. The Ravens are better than what we've seen from them this year. Sorry, Luke, and your Steelers. The one issue is that you're getting drops from Ravens receivers.
Yeah.
And they're getting some turnovers from Lamar Jackson. But I feel like they're going to be able to get this offense kind of in more of a flow as the season goes on. I think the Titans are an ugly watch. I think they've got a great head coach and a mostly horrible roster.
Yeah, I find myself from time to time betting on the Tennessee Titans, but it's never fun. Even when you cover, it's usually not a whole lot of fun. They're not a fun team to watch. We talk about teams that just aren't a whole lot of fun. The New York Giants, I don't want to watch any more Giants football, especially in primetime. The Jets, even though I have Jets Super Bowl futures and now I have a Jets lamp. Did you guys see that video? I have a Jets lamp now.
No,
that's what I got for my birthday.
Do you love lamp?
I love lamp.
I love lamp.
But it's just a big Jets lamp, and I'm like, ooh, I don't know how to tell my wife I actually hate this team now because they killed my quarterback. But anyway,
they didn't. It's the offensive line that did. It's different. You can't blame the defense for that.
But the Titans are a tough watch, and their pass defense is a really tough watch. And the one thing they're one saving grace on the defensive side of the ball was the run defense. Here's the problem, though. If Tart's not able to play, and I think he's going to try to at least go in this game because he's looking for a new deal, but he's their best interior lineman. He's dealing right now with turf toe, which is a tough injury to play with, obviously. And you look at the last 2 weeks, even the run defense, they're giving up 2.5 yards before first contact, and they don't have a good offensive line. Or they're not going against good offensive lines, I should say. 260 yards without him, with Tart off the field, 148 with him on the field. He's their best run defender, obviously. So I think Baltimore is going to be able to run the ball a little bit. Also, what's big for the Ravens that nobody's talking about is they're going to get their whole offensive line together for the first time since week 1. Lamar hasn't had all 5 starting offensive linemen since week 1. Even though this is a team we've seen win double-digit games, we've seen them go to a Super Bowl, we've seen them rough up the Bills in the playoffs last year, have a heartbreaking loss to the Chiefs, but I just have to stay away from this, man, because we just watched Seattle in primetime sack Daniel Jones 11 times, but also the Giants are missing the entire left side of their offensive line, and they don't have any skill position players that we really like without Saquon on the field. So I have to stay away because I could see Seattle getting after Joe Burrow, sacking him a bunch, like you said, testing how mobile he is right now. But I could also see Cincinnati just being back. Like Joe Burrow connected with Jamar Chase 15 times. He hit a deep ball, 2 deep balls. And you might get T. Higgins back in this game. Defense played much better for the Bengals. I want to wait and see what we have. This is like a great game to watch because I like both teams a lot. And I just want to learn, how good is Seattle? Are they for real? This would be a big win for them. And then I want to learn, are the Bengals back? So right now, stay away from me. Maybe I'll look at some player props. It's hard to stay away from Jamar Chase over on receptions and an anytime touchdown. Throw them in maybe like a same-game parlay if there's anything else you like. Kenneth Walker rushing yards. Oh, never mind. The one I sent you today. I do have a bet in this game. Longest rush.
Yes.
Under 14.5, Joe Mixon. What world are we pricing this in? Where, like you said, Seattle's defense much improved. And I don't see Joe Mixon going off for a gain over 14.5 yards.
You know what? I'll be honest with you guys. I want the Commanders to lose every game the rest of the year.
Even this one?
Yes, I want them to lose every single one because there's just no point. Like, Sam Howell's a nice quarterback, and I think Sam Howell will be a great backup quarterback. And I think that he's done a pretty good job considering that offensive line they have. But you know what? The Falcons are 2.5-point favorites. The total's 42.5 in this game. They've been close games the last 2 years they've played. The Commanders won with 33 seconds left back in 2021. Marcus Mariota had that game-winning touchdown last season. It was like a minute to go. Desmond Ridder has been sacked 16 times in 5 games. This just has the chance to be one of those kind of games when it's all said and done.
Is there an over-under for how many sacks are in this game in total for both teams?
Well, what you have to do, I guess, just parlay total team sacks for each one and put it together. I would consider betting that. I don't have what it is in front of us. You want to figure that out?
I will.
That's actually not a terrible idea.
Yeah.
That's not a terrible idea.
I'll give you the market, Luke. How many you want to bet? You want to come do
total
for both teams? BetMG Horvat.
BetMG Horvat.
I would set it at like 9.5. So it's like 4.5 each.
See,
close to that.
Here's the thing, though. All right, I'd go under. And I'll tell you why, because this is the thing. I kind of want to take the Commanders in this game. I just want to wait because I don't like them at 2.5. So I'm cheering for Atlanta every week. I need them to go over 8.5 wins. I want them to make the playoffs, plus 220. And I know Washington's dropped 3 straight games, and I know that they gave up 40 points to the Bears, but it was also a short week, and they were coming off an emotional game where you almost beat the Philadelphia Eagles, the defending NFC champs. And if they would have went for 2, maybe they win that game, but Riverboat Ron lost his balls in that game. And I just feel like, though, that's the last we've seen of Washington. But if we get a 3 here, Sam Howell has been pretty good from a clean pocket. He's not really good under pressure. But Atlanta's not really getting a pass rush this season. They only have 5 sacks. So I just don't know why you think there's going to be so many sacks because I know Washington's offensive line is bad. But I think this might be a game where they could actually keep Sam Howell clean because Atlanta's not really getting after the quarterback. They're stopping the run. They're a top 10 run defense, but they're not really generating any pressure. So I think he might be able to be kept clean in this game. The reason I don't like Washington, though, they've given up at least 104 yards on the ground their last 4 games, and now they go against Bijan and Tyler Algier. So at 2.5, I'm staying away.